And welcome to the Cabin Podcast, episode 64 or episode 1 p.m. post Mariah, if you will.
Oh, that was good.
Very nice.
That was good.
I'm Eric Paulson, and of course we have Audio Dave and Susan. Let's reintroduce ourselves since we are in 1 p.m. So
all right.
I'm Eric Paulson, co-host on the Discover Wisconsin show and co-host of this podcast since the beginning.
I am Audio Dave, and I've had that name. What is this? Episode 64?
64.
Yeah, I've had that nickname for 64 episodes. I do all of the audio design and mixing of Discover Wisconsin and everything for our parent company, Discover MediaWorks.
Very nice. And I'm Susan Foch. I've only been here since episode 46 or 47, I think. I'm both a co-producer and the social media person behind the Cabin Podcast on Instagram. So make sure you're following along.
Mm-hmm.
And here with us today is our first special guest host, someone relatively new to the Discover MediaWorks crew on the content marketing and the business development team, so he's very crucial. And we have him here with us today because he needs a break from selling, and he knows a thing or two about the sports world. Josh Osterman has spent the last 12 years working in sports marketing at the University of Idaho. Are they the Fightin' Potatoes, or what's their name?
As the Vandals, the Idaho Vandals.
The Vandals.
The Vandals.
Very wholesome.
Wow.
Yes.
All right. The University of Wyoming, and most recently here at UW-Madison, my alma mater. What? Being a Wisconsinite and former sports marketer now, we asked Josh to join us as we talked baseball in Wisconsin. So welcome to the cabin, Josh.
Well, thanks for having me on the podcast. I will utilize this opportunity to hearken back to episode 41, where we go back and we talk about where the Northwoods begins. Because as a Rhinelander guy, I was Highway 8. Dave, you actually talked about the detention zone, and it made me rethink. I was Highway 8 all the way. So I've been listening to the podcast for a while. It's always good for the person that fills in for the legend right after they leave. So it should go well for me. So I'm excited.
Big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
So we've been actually in opening week. Opening day in Milwaukee was back on April 1st. Always fun to have that on April Fool's Day. And, of course, opening week at all the baseball stadiums around the country. Minor league teams and some of the summer league teams won't start for a little while yet. But it's always fun to have opening day, especially in Milwaukee, where I am, which it's like a national holiday. And, Josh, I know you have some strong feelings on opening day.
I love opening day. I think it's a transition for coming out of winter, you're going into spring, and then you know that the summer's coming. And it's a holiday in my mind. I know when I lived out west, it was one of those things where I would take the day off of work, I'd grill out, I'd be a part of it, and we'd listen to WTMJ because they would do remote broadcasts as they led up to the actual game broadcast where Uke would get on and be talking about it. It's not so much about the actual game itself; it's the experience. It's a turning of a new season. So that's the exciting thing about opening day, and it can go all week. So it's actually referred to as opening week, and that's what we like.
Be honest, you didn't want to take PTO. You tried to get that as a holiday, didn't you?
If I was honest, I was working from home, quote unquote, before it was a thing. So
Perfect.
Well, when you're in sports marketing, that's also research.
It's true.
Sure. So, and yeah, in Milwaukee, where the winters are long and hard, places like here, opening day is particularly wonderful because it does mark that transition into spring and warmer weather. Although we've had opening days at Old County Stadium where it snowed. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be some cold nights as we start the season here because American Family Field is not closing the roof right now due to COVID. So we're going to have, it's going to be like old school baseball. Bring your coat to the game, even though it's a sign of spring. It doesn't go away easily around here. And tailgating, not allowed this year for a little while at least, but that's a huge tradition. And I think it's a bigger thing in Milwaukee than most places. Would you agree, Josh?
Yeah, the way that American Family Field is set up, it's with the parking lot all around the stadium. There's very few Major League Baseball parks that have that capacity, and not all fan bases get into tailgating like Wisconsin fans, and it doesn't matter if it's football, baseball, whatnot. It's the thing to do. But on opening day, you could have 40,000 people tailgating outside and another 40-some thousand inside watching the game. So that's what makes tailgating and opening day so special in Milwaukee. That it's different than any of the other places that I've ever been to in Major League Baseball.
There's been a lot of times where people would come to the game, not to the game itself, but to the stadium, the parking lot, and just tailgate all day long, to the point where the cops were starting to say, hey, make sure you have a ticket if you're coming here, all right? But that is one reason a lot of games, especially Brewers games, you don't see a lot of people in the stands till around the third inning, because people just kind of hang out and they're like, oh, the game's going on, guys, let's go in. Finish that 8th brat, Joe. Come on.
Oh, yeah. What did we come here for?
Yeah, exactly. You can get lost in it. So it's always fun when people play football at a baseball tailgate, too, mixing it up a little.
Well, I'm excited to continue celebrating this opening day as we get into it.
For the record, Josh, I always bob my head to that sting.
You can dance with us.
I know it looks like I'm having a
as is
convulsion, but I'm
tradition.
not. The Cabin is brought to you by the Wisconsin Counties Association, and this week we're featuring Iowa County. Not the state, the county. Iowa County is just west of Dane, just west of Madison. It was created in 1829 as a territorial county, named after the Iowa Native Americans whose hunting grounds dominated the area. And it is in the Driftless area. It's a very, very beautiful county. And now it's technically part of the Madison metropolitan area. So when you see Madison Metro's population, Iowa Counties is included. County seat is Dodgeville, which is home, of course, to Land's End, famously. Always been a huge mining area. Dodgeville grew so fast when it was first founded. It was one of the largest cities in the state for a while, and it was larger than Milwaukee before Milwaukee incorporated. It was bigger than Madison, too. Not the case now. There's about just under 5,000 people in Dodgeville. And what's another cool thing about Dodgeville, Josh?
They have a cafe by Country Kitchen. There's not very many country kitchens left. I think there's 2 in the state of Wisconsin. It's Richland Center and Platteville, but sandwiched right in between, there's a new concept called Cafe by Country Kitchen. So we used to, that used to be the place to go in the Rhinelander area. It was you could just be celebrating anything, go on a date and have a nice romantic barn buster with 4 pancakes and 4 bacon strips. And it was, just 4 waffles. I mean, it's just 4 eggs, hash browns. It was good food. Do you remember that? Have you ever eaten at a country kitchen?
I've eaten at a country kitchen. I don't think in Wisconsin, but they've been all over the country for a while, right? Are they kind of like Blockbuster where there aren't very many left?
Yeah, they're slowly dying out. And I think there's 2 actual country kitchens, and then there's that cafe concept that they have, which is in Dodgeville.
Somewhere off US 18 or 151 or Highway 23, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. I will say that Governor Dodge State Park is... I got caught.
He's got to get his one in every
I know, we got to get
right.
In the flow.
Yeah. But Governor Dodge State Park is great for pets. We just we had Nellie down there a couple weekends ago. Like, walked down to the falls. It's a lot of open trails. It's a great place to go. It's big too. I didn't realize how big that state park is.
That is huge. A lot of cool waterfalls in that park.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Blue Mound, which is southern Wisconsin's highest point, is right on the edge of Iowa County on the border with Dane. And Pendarvis is in Mineral Point. That's another great Wisconsin historic site. Mineral Point itself, Wisconsin's 3rd oldest town, was almost the state capital. And one more thing about Iowa County, Audio Dave, the little slice of your favorite town is in Iowa County.
Yes, part of Blanchardville is in Iowa. The other part is in Lafayette County.
Exactly. So someday you might be mayor of a little corner of a town in Iowa County.
Here's
let's
hoping.
get the key to the city, because you deserve it,
I see
Dave.
you, Blanchardville. I love you.
All right, let's light this fire.
All right, and it is officially April, which means it's a kickoff into spring and baseball season. Of course, Wisconsin is known for our major league team, the Brewers, in case you haven't heard of them. And whether or not you still refer to it as Miller Park or American Family Field, Wisconsinites love the opportunity to take in a ball game and do a little tailgating, as we mentioned. But Wisconsin is also home to many minor league teams, so we thought we would take you on a little tour of where you can catch a minor league baseball game in your city and throw in a few historic fun facts along the way. And I'm very happy that Josh and Eric are going to take the rest of this segment because I know very little about baseball. So, but I am looking forward to getting out and, taking advantage of a drink special or two at some of these games this summer. So take it away.
Not that many options are not very far from you in Madison, Audio Dave.
Yeah.
So I'll start with, there's two basically minor league teams that are farm teams for the majors in Wisconsin. I'll just name the first one because we're going to talk a lot about the second one too. The Beloit Snappers. Cool name. It's where Prince Fielder played before he got to the Brewers, and I think Ricky Weeks and some others too. They're a single A affiliate, I believe, and
The
they're,
Miami Marlins.
Oh, for the Miami Marlins now, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to be an affiliate for the Brewers.
And the Twins.
They play at Pullman Field, and the Twins. Well, there's a long, These minor league teams change their affiliations really fast. Like every couple of years, some of them switch and change. And I know we'll get into it with the next team, too. They play at Pullman Field, which has been there a long, long time now in Beloit. It's a cool little ballpark, but they are talking, I believe, about a new one for the Snappers in Beloit. And with all the growth going on in Beloit, I could totally see that, especially if it's a downtown ballpark.
It's right on the edge of downtown, this new stadium that they're building. I think it's called, Riverbend.
Oh, they got a name already?
Well, it's Riverbend Stadium. I think they're close to having a naming rights sponsor on the actual stadium, but it's a beautiful facility. It's right on the Rock River on the edge of downtown. There's the parking locations there are, there's no parking lots or any of that, but I think I read 900 parking spots within a 10-minute walk, and it's unique because of how close and beautiful the downtown Beloit has become. It's just an added piece to that. So now you can go to the restaurants with like Geronimo Hospitality for a free drop there, but go to some of their restaurants, stay in a hotel, and then go down to the stadium and watch. And I believe they're now high class A? It's the next level up.
Some variation on the A, yeah.
Right. So they're the high class A. So it's one level down from double A. And there was a gentleman now who I've known for years named Jeff Trigella, who used to be a Badger like myself, and he's now the team president. And when I was talking to him earlier about his transition into that role, he had said that most of the there'll be players that are on the high class A teams that will be playing in Major League Baseball, within the next 12 months. So it's exciting. So you get to see good baseball in Beloit.
Mm-hmm. Are they also
and they're fighting for spots on the roster, so they're trying hard.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Aren't they also going through kind of a rebrand right now? Like next year, are they going to be the Supper Clubbers or something like that? Is that what it is?
That sounds awesome if it's true.
That would be a home run name.
Hey,
boy.
Oh, okay.
Where's your rim
I'll give you
shot?
one of these.
There we go. The Beloit Supper Clubbers. So by the seventh inning, they're just going to waddle around the bases because they're so stuffed from the breadsticks and the
They have
prime
an old
rib
fashioned in hand.
Yep.
Eat your fish fry while you're running the bases. Good question. And there is another major minor league team in Wisconsin, and they're a Brewers affiliate. Take it away, Josh.
Yeah, the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. They are in the same league. It's that what do they call it? The High Class Central now. It used to be the Midwest League, but that has a name change. But it's a great stadium right along.
It really is.
Yeah, I mean it's a great parking lot. It's fun. They have entertainment always coming in. I know that one that has me all whipped up is the Bark in the Parks on Wednesdays. Every Wednesday, a home Wednesday during the season, you get to buy a ticket to go sit in the left field grass on the berm, and you get to bring your 4-legged dog. So, it could be a 3-legged dog, but you can bring your dog.
If you want to bring a tripod,
It's a weird distinction that they make.
Make sure you bring your 4-legged dog.
It sounds
awesome, though. I'm going to have to check that out next time I'm up in Green Bay visiting home.
Yeah.
Neuroscience Group Field at Fox City Stadium is their official name. See what happens when you get a sponsor? Yeah. But it is a really cool stadium. It's right along I-41. You can see the baseball being played as you drive by
Right.
on the freeway. And they have a lot of parking, and they have suites that are really cool.
Yep.
The prices on everything so reasonable, and I've gone to several games there, and I love them. I love their mascot Fang.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just it's a really cool place. And of course, Brewers. Some of the Brewers, like if they get injured and they're rehabbing and they're starting to come back, they'll start pitching.
Oh, wow.
Up there in
Right.
Appleton. And it's very cool. And Appleton's had baseball, minor league baseball, I think since the 40s.
Right.
They were the Appleton Foxes for a long time. And I think the Timber Rattlers rebrand was in the mid-90s or so. And boy, they've done a great job. They really have.
I'm going to drop this on you. On Friday, August 14th is Seinfeld night with a themed mug giveaway, and they have a special guest appearance. You guys remember Steve Heitner, the guy that played Kenny Banya?
Oh, he was the best, Jerry, the best.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Well, they have a lot of good promotions all the time. Of course, there's another league in the state with a ton of teams. And this is not a professional league. It is a college league. It's called the Northwoods League, and they are immensely popular in the cities where they have teams, and there's quite a few of them. I'll name a few, and I know you can get into more detail on some, Josh. So I'll start by giving a shout out to the Crosse Loggers. They play in Copeland Park, right by the Mississippi River. They call it the Lumberyard. Which reminds me of Caddyshack. Where'd it go? Right in the Lumberyard. There's some great players have gone there. Max Scherzer pitched there. Eric Thames played for the Lacrosse Loggers before he came to the Brewers, and I think before he went to Korea. And then even Todd Rundgren, the singer, his son Randy has played for the Lacrosse Loggers. And one of the big slogans, you've heard Roll Tide in Alabama, Roll Logs for the Loggers. It's also the Green Bay Booyah, which I believe they're named after the food.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Is that about right?
Used to
They're
be the
relatively new. I mean, they probably weren't even there
Booyah.
back when you lived in Green Bay.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
were the
probably.
Bullfrogs. They were the Bullfrogs then. Yep.
Okay. That I recognize.
I remember that name. Okay. The Wisconsin Rapids Rafters. And then there's two more that I'll talk about in greater detail. One of them is the Kenosha Kingfish. And they play at a very old historic stadium in Kenosha. And in fact, that stadium's so old and classic when they had women's leagues in the 1940s, as they talked about in a league of their own, the Kenosha team played at that same stadium. So rich history there. We filmed when we did one of the Kenosha shows. I got to attend a game, and I was part of that mid-inning entertainment where you put yourself in that huge kind of clear, puffy ball, you know, and then you start at first, somebody else starts at third, and you run and basically run into each other at second. And that's when my opponent was a 15-year-old who trash talked me a little bit, so I knocked him down so hard. I'm like, they're going to kick me out of this stadium.
How did the crowd react?
Well, that's the thing. See, I didn't wear the ball right. It was kind of up over my ears a little, so I couldn't hear very well or see very well, but I saw him coming. And my microphone pack is like bouncing off of me. And I hit the kid. I actually let up. If you look at the video, I let up and just kind of went like this. But the laws of physics were such where my weight was pretty heavy on this relatively slender teenager. And he went his feet went like this angle when he hit the ground. And all I heard was the crowd go, "Oh."
Yeah.
It was like, oh, God.
Eric,
For those listening, he was making a gesture that points up towards the air.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, his feet were at a 45-degree
Check
angle
us out on
towards the
YouTube,
sky.
maybe.
Right.
So, yeah, you should be watching this podcast.
you should watch this, but also, Eric, can you please send me that video so I can put it on social?
It was on the
for this?
episode.
Oh, it's on the episode.
Oh, my
Look it
God.
up.
Okay. That's
and actually
going on Instagram.
One of the producers did like a 7-second loop with like action adventure music behind it. So I'll have to find it and get it to you.
Oh, please do.
It's good. But it was a very fun, it's a very fun experience. And then if you're in Madison, have you been to a Mallards game, any of you guys?
Absolutely.
At the Duck Pond? That is
Yep.
a really awesome experience. And they do so many cool promotions. They have a really cool, the Duck Blind, which is an area in the back where you're in the outfield and you get all the food and the drink and the kind of semi-private areas to hang out and just watch the game. And it is just so much fun. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just absolutely love those Mallards games. And there are several other teams, and I know, Josh, they were on your list to check out and talk about. So,
Oh, you're putting pressure on me now, huh?
Let you take over now.
Well, the Wisconsin Woodchucks, they play in Wausau. That I used to go to that. Used to go to games there at Athletic Stadium, and it's a beautiful facility. It was built in 1912, and it's right along the river. And
It's like Fenway or Wrigley's age.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So I believe it's Wausau or Sherman Avenue, one of the two main roads in downtown
Sherman
Wausau.
Avenue, I think. It's right along Highway 52. I know that.
Yep, it's right north of downtown, and it's. I mean, you come up and it has that facade that looks like old Yankee Stadium as you come up. Obviously, it's not that, but it's great baseball. Ned Yost Jr. Played there. That's son of Ned Yost, the old Brewers manager. Jim Gantner was the manager there for a while. Do you guys remember Jim Gantner, the old Brewer?
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's so
I'm a little older than these other two.
Sorry.
Okay. My favorite though, because
Wait, hold on. Can I interject? Do they still use wood bats nowadays?
I think this is a wood bat league. The Northwoods League is a wood bat league.
Oh, are there different leagues? See, this is how much I don't know. But if they do use wood bats and they let go of the bat when they swing, we could find out how much wood a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood.
Whoa.
It's a good one.
I was working on a joke about that, but that was beautiful, Dave.
You got to get
Dave.
yourself
That
your own audio cue for that one.
All right, I'm not proud of it.
I will
All right,
say,
continue.
yeah, with the Fond du Lac Dock Spiders, I think they're a relatively new organization. I mean, it's how does
They
somebody
only started
come
up
up?
a couple of years ago, yeah.
I think it won the championship. I think in 2018, but. That could be one of the most disgusting names in all of sports. Has anybody ever had a chance to see a dock spider in action? An actual dock spider?
Oh,
That's an
yeah.
actual phobia of mine? Absolutely not.
Oh, yeah. They get
Arachnophobia?
nasty under docks.
Yeah. And then you take a dock over and you flip it, and it for some reason they float on the top of the water and they can run along the water.
Oh, yeah.
No.
It's absolutely just vile to watch. But
I've never watched Susan recoil in horror before.
That's a hard pass for me.
Yeah. But that's Fond du Lac's name, and they've had a very good program there. But it's I will say my favorite of all the Northwoods League teams would be the Eau Claire Express. They play obviously in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, but they play at Carson Park, which is a awesome facility. I was a University of Wisconsin Eau Claire Blue Gold, so we used to go to these games. They started up, I think, when I was in college there, and they had built the same type of setup where like they had much like the duck blind, where you can get all you can eat food and drink and whatnot. So it's fun, but with that, they have a big statue of Henry Aaron. So because he played there in 1952, he started his baseball career with the Eau Claire Bears. Also, Bob Euchre and Joe Torre played inside Carson Park Stadium. So you can see some pretty quality baseball and people that will move on to the next level, which is fun. But I love Carson Park. It's on a 134-acre peninsula. It's Half Moon Lake is right there, so you can go fishing. You can do all that stuff. But one of my favorites, what makes baseball in Wisconsin, like the minor league baseball, so fun is it's about the experience. It's your day. You can go to a game that's relatively cheap. You can go buy drinks and food at the stadium. That can be inexpensive, but you're giving up your afternoon or your evening to just relax and enjoy the weather. And we would always go to a place called Ray's Place in Eau Claire, if anybody's familiar with that, at the end of Water Street as you're getting ready to turn up into Carson Park. And they have the best hot beef and hot ham sandwiches in the state. Anybody
Gauntlet thrown. That's a bold statement, John.
I mean,
Yeah, you heard it here.
Bill's Pizza in Stevens Point actually has a pretty good hot beef sandwich as well, but Ray's Place in Eau Claire, hands down, the best.
Wow, very nice.
I think you're outdoing me on hot beef and hot ham sandwich research.
Oh, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
That's good.
And then I'll wrap it up with one more. The Lakeshore Chinooks, a team that has a ownership group with some pretty high name baseball folks within the state of Wisconsin. One being Bob Euchre and the other being Robin Yount. It's a fun new team. It's a fun organization. They opened up. When was that? It was a few years ago. And
4 or 5 at least.
Yeah, and it's they've been doing a great job. It's fun going to the games. It's entertainment, and then we also share a sponsorship partner. We work with Jolly Good, obviously, is the official soda or the official pop, whatever you want to call it, of Discover Wisconsin, and they have a giveaway that people can sign up and win tickets in a first pitch at the game. We have one of the Chinooks games, and so they're actually going to be doing one of those giveaways on Discover Wisconsin sometime this summer, so you can look for that.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Wait.
Now,
We have to clear this up. Do you say soda or do you say pop?
Soda.
Yeah, I say soda.
Okay.
Yeah.
You made that distinction. I thought it was very odd for you to do.
are you a popper, Susan?
No, that's why I was like, I thought that was like a
My
Chicago
wife says
thing.
pop.
So I was like,
I've been
what?
working on converting her, but
Well,
she has
we're all-
family from Minnesota, so that's
Okay.
That's how
Minnesota
that
and
goes.
Michigan, it's pop to a much
Yep.
greater extent.
Yeah.
But the official brand is Jolly Good Soda, right? That's what they call themselves, right?
A good old Jolly Good.
See, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Always good to have the product right there. Now, Jolly Good Soda does have an exciting introduction to make because they have 6 great flavors, and now they have a new diet soda line, which I always appreciate. Every diet can of Jolly Good Soda is caffeine-free, no calories, 0 calories, 0 grams of carbs, and 0 sugars. So that's all nice, just flavor and bubbles. If you're looking for where to get your hands on Jolly Good Soda, you can find it at Sendik's, Piggly Wiggly's, Triggs, Woodman's, Quality Food Market, and Festival Foods most recently. So that's pretty cool.
And make sure to stay up to date on their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter accounts at Jolly Good Soda for all their fun promos. They are actually running a Case of the Mondays promo every Monday during 2021. They are giving away a 12-pack to one lucky winner. They can choose what flavor they'd like. Just follow along on their social media for your chance to win. Wow. You can pick a 12-pack and you intermix what flavors within that 12-pack?
Yeah,
Yeah,
mix
if you
and
win.
match.
All sour
wow.
power.
Love when you can do that. Yeah,
Oh,
a little
that's
sour
fantastic.
power.
Or a diet sour power.
I
Cheers,
like Diet
Josh.
Orange. Diet Orange.
To each their own. And remember that's tying in, of course, with the Lakeshore Chinooks with that promotion. Now, one more thing, Josh, I do want to say, you mentioned the Dock Spiders, kind of a weird name for a team. Traverse City, Michigan, in the same league, has the Pit Spitters.
Yes, but the Pit Spitters don't gross me out like the Dock Spiders because I've actually had, the
Yeah,
Dock Spiders.
That's a very visceral memory that
I
comes
suppose.
Yeah, that's
Right.
If anyone needs a rebrand, that would be the team. Good
You
lord.
wouldn't want either of them on you, let's put it that way.
Right.
I'm going to give one more shout out to a team, by the way, and it's a team in the American Association of Independent Professional Baseball. That is a mouthful, but it's the Milwaukee Milkmen. They just started up a few years ago, too. They call themselves Milwaukee's Udder Team. Get it? Yeah.
Good one. It's a good one.
Yeah. They play at Routine Field in Franklin, which is a suburb of Milwaukee. That's a lot of really cool, enjoyable baseball, too. And during the summer season, when they're not playing on certain weekends, they will use the parking lot as a drive-in movie theater.
Ooh.
So it's pretty cool. And actually, the Mallards do that, too, sometimes. So it's always fun to go over all these teams. Josh, thank you very much for your input on this. Of course, your background. You know so much about these teams, and we got to go to a game this summer. Several.
Sounds like a plan.
Deal? You buy.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Josh.
Josh.
It's kind of an 80s sound audio, Dave.
It's like a new dance for a new sting.
Kind
Whole
of
new
is.
dance moves.
I almost did a little dance with my neck right there. That's the problem when you watch this podcast.
Watch it on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, we have another guest with us today, producer Matt Edgar, one of the producers of a show that's about to be released on Discover Wisconsin. It's called Off-Road Wisconsin, Tales from the Trails. And there's a lot of trails and plenty of tales, I'm assuming. Welcome to the
Many.
show, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Matt. I'm a relatively recent hire at Discover Wisconsin, and I do corporate production and production on Discover Wisconsin, obviously, and that's pretty much it.
Well, you
I'm
have
a
an
very
interesting-
one-dimensional person.
You have an interesting background. Don't do that. We were on a shoot in Langlade County when it was like 30, 40 below wind chill. And as we ate, $72 worth of pizza one night.
Just the
that
two
was
of you?
that was a mistake from ordering from Pizza Hut. Is they're
Yeah.
way expensive.
Wow.
Yeah, up there.
Just calling them out on the pod like that.
Wow.
Yeah, no, you might have to cross
Are they a
that line
sponsor?
out.
Well,
I'm gonna get some hate mail. Thanks, guys.
but you have
It was
some, you have
like
some
2
background in
pizzas.
geology.
I do. I went to school for geology actually, and ended up working in Los Angeles for an oil company looking for oil, and absolutely hated that. So, so I quit and did some traveling, and found myself the whole coming of age thing.
Very nice.
And that's when I discovered I wanted to be a photographer and then a media producer.
Nice.
Very
And he
cool.
got here, so it's perfect. And so all the rock formations in the state, he can tell you more about than probably any of us
Thank
could.
goodness.
Absolutely.
You'd
and
be
of course,
surprised.
trails.
You'd be surprised at how fast that stuff leaves your memory.
I have a buddy who's getting his PhD in geology, and I text him every time I'm hiking a picture of what's this rock, and tell me about it, and then it'll be like a full page of texts about it.
He's like, I'm not sure. I haven't licked it yet, so I can't really tell you the minerals. And,
Some do lick rocks, right?
oh yeah, I've done it. I've done it.
Well, a lot of trails are crushed limestone or gravel or just plain old dirt. And of course, they're fun when you're jumping on an ATV or a UTV or in the wintertime, a snowmobile. And you're filming all kinds of stuff on this because you were one of quite a few producers who worked on this show. Now, which motorized sports can we all expect to see?
So the show is broken up into 2 seasons. So in the summer season, it was filmed as ATV and UTV segments. And then in the winter, it was snowmobiling.
So I guessed correctly.
Yes,
Right on
you
the
did.
head.
I guess so. All right. So that's cool. So you get to see the different trails in different seasons because they change character pretty quick
They do. They
based
do.
on the time of year.
So, Matt, your portion of the show, if I recall correctly, was on winterized motorized sports or just winter motorsports. Tell us
Yep.
a little bit about shooting that, and if there's anything kind of funny, like an interesting story that came along with that.
Yeah, for sure. So this was kind of a prequel to the shoot that we did in Langlade, in that it prepped me because it was freezing. Still, it was like the beginning of that polar vortex that we got in Langlade that led to that negative 20-degree shoot that we had so much fun on. But this one was cold because it was like an endurance, like 4-day shoot, 10 hours a day. So it looked a lot, or it was a lot colder than it looked. And I think we probably went through an entire box of like an industrial size box of hand warmers and and the camera equipment was sometimes glitching, and I feel bad for Teddy having to put up that drone because his hands were like blue after using
geez.
that thing.
And on our Langlade shoot too. Those
yeah.
batteries do not last long in below zero weather.
No, like putting them in my pockets and in my pants to like keep them warm. But yeah, the ice festival in Douglas County was really, really cool. What I didn't realize was that they actually were doing all of those races like on the ice. So I knew that you could put like, a fishing hut on the ice. I didn't know you could put an entire parking lot of trailers and like people on ice. I was like, these people are insane, because there must have been I don't know. There was probably like 200 like 2-ton trailers with ATVs with like studded spikes on it, like on the ice. And I was like, dang, dude, I don't know who's the glacial geologist that has approved this one.
A question we all ask ourselves at some
Yes.
point.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And Matt, I always like to ask like cinematographers if there was a special shot that they felt really connected to, or some small detail that came together in the edit or in the process of making this show that the typical viewer might miss if they're not looking for it. Is there anything that sticks out for you, like small details that you really loved about this show?
Yeah, well, I think one of the shots that I think is really funny is actually the last shot of the entire episode, which is fireworks. And it's maybe a few seconds long, but, you know, we got finished shooting this ice fest at the end of the day, and then we went back to our hotel, and then the fireworks were going to come on like a few hours later. So we got back to the hotel, and then we warmed up, and then we realized that we had to go back out with like our camera gear. But it was at night, and we actually had to haul all of our stuff halfway across the water, like onto this frozen lake to get far enough away to get that shot.
Oh,
and
wow.
so we went out there, and it was like -20 wind chill, and it was at night, and there was no protection from the wind, and we were there like 10 minutes early so we could capture it. And then we had to wait like 35 minutes for this whole entire fireworks show to actually complete before we get to like the grand finale. So we were probably out there for a solid hour, just like huddled up like penguins, you know, like this.
Oh, jeez.
For like a 5-second shot that ended up at the end of the show. And I just thought it was really funny how little airtime that shot got for how much effort I had to put into it.
That might be the best answer to that question I've ever gotten. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is amazing sometimes how long you have to do something in order to get maybe 5 seconds of footage.
Yeah.
And
That's the
it does
dedication
often
it
happen
takes.
in extreme weather. Yeah.
Yep.
Goodness gracious. Well, thank you for coming on and talking to us a little bit about the behind the scenes of this episode, Matt.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Are we going to see you lick rocks on any episodes coming up?
Oh, man. If you can get me in front of the camera, maybe.
I will if
I don't
you
know.
will.
I'll charge extra for that.
Perfect. Should we do a
right.
podcast of the geology of Wisconsin with Matt?
Yeah.
It'd be a good
Well,
topic,
great,
actually.
I'll be the host
Yeah.
so that we can actually interview somebody that actually knows about the geology of Wisconsin.
Perfect.
All right.
Perfect.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Take care.
Yep. See you guys.
All right, so I'm excited, you guys. I get to read our review of the week, and I
All right.
picked a very special one because I thought it was so sweet. It's called Very Enjoyable and Informative by Wisconsin Mike 23 on Apple Podcasts, and it says, I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately while rehabbing my knees. I recently discovered The Cabin, and now I've been listening to at least 1 to 2 podcasts every day. Your podcasts are fun and make the rehab time go by much faster. I love the banter between you guys, and I learn while I enjoy.
That's awesome.
Thank you,
sweet.
WI Mike 23. That's awesome.
It explains
Yeah.
why some of our binge numbers are going up.
Ooh. I didn't
no
know
problem
binge
with
numbers
that.
was a thing.
Oh yeah, when you
Cool.
just like binge a podcast super hard. I love it.
You binge videos online. You binge Discover Wisconsin episodes.
Well, I didn't know that was like a separate metric.
Oh, it's not. I can just see old episodes all of a sudden
Gotcha.
going back up in the ticker. So
Okay.
I'm just assuming it's people binging old things. So
We have a ticker. That's funny.
I love it.
Well,
All right.
shout out to our future bingers who have just arrived at this episode.
Thank you for being
Please
here.
binge and enjoy. You can only video binge a few episodes, going back to what, episode 56, right?
Yeah, 56
Yeah.
is when we hopped on YouTube. So if you haven't seen us have banter, hop over
You'll,
there.
you'll get sick of our faces soon enough. And the audio binging, of course, you can go back for a year and 2 months. And it's great. Now, it's not unusual for us to drink on these shows. And if you're feeling thirsty, oh, we got a treat for you next week. We're focusing again on some classic Wisconsin beverages, one in particular, because what's more classic or Wisconsin than to have a wild Bloody Mary?
Awesome.
You might say an old fashioned, but we've already done that. So there are some amazingly delicious and outrageous looking ones. And all around the state, really, we're going to be reviewing some of the top places to get Wisconsin's wildest Bloody Marys.
Ready?
Oh God, I hope so. Okay.
All right, Susan, time for you to rock these credits.
Today's episode of The Cabin was hosted by Eric Paulson and Dave Janis with special guest host of Josh Osterman, produced by me, Susan Foch, and Audio Dave, with video editing by Andrew Netfig and social media by me and Abby Stecker. The Cabin is a production brought to you by Discover Media Works. To learn more, head to discovermediaworks.com and don't forget to leave us a review.